Hi everyone and welcome. This is Angela Palmer from Stamp with Angela and I'm excited to be here with you today for this week's Facebook and YouTube Live to share some ideas and inspiration with you. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here. So today I'm going to share some cards which feature the in colors. And I love the new, well not, they've been around for a while now, the 2025 to 2027 in colors. Had lots of fun with those. And you have seen them before, but I thought I would show a version of a monochromatic card using these colors, particularly as our in color sale is just a few more days left before the end of the month. So it's a great time, if you haven't seen these in colors, to get hold of them. And hopefully you'll learn a couple of techniques and things along the way as well. So thank you for being here. Please feel free to comment as we go. I'll answer questions. Love to see what you're thinking about the creations and things. And even if you're watching the recording later, please comment and I'll look through them then as well. I know not everyone can be live on, a Thursday afternoon, but I appreciate you being here or watching the recording later. Hi, Linda. Thank you for being here. I see a couple of others here as well. So thank you for joining me. Appreciate that. So let's get started and we'll have a look at these in colors and what we're going to make today. All right, let me switch to my crafting desk. Okay, here we go. So here, this is the designer series paper in the in colors. Oh, there we go. Looked like my screen had frozen for a minute there. So hopefully we're all good. Is the sound and picture okay? Hopefully the picture will keep up. All right, so do you know the in colors? We've got this pinkish reddish one here, Strawberry Slush, Darling Duckling, our yellow, Timid Tiger for our orange. We've got the Secret Sea for our kind of bluey, greyy, blacky kind of one, and then Cloud Cover for our other one. So what I'm using here, or what I've got here, is the 6x6 designer series papers, and yeah, so that's one design. So on one side you've got the leaves, on the other you've got the stripy pattern, and then I've used a lot of these, but the other paper that you get in the pack, these were 6x6s, but I've cut them down, is this pretty flower pattern, and with that kind of image on the back. So you're going to mix pack with all these colors, and I love using the designer series paper. So we're going to use some of this on our creation today, as well as the two-tone cardstock. So great uses of the in colors. So what's your favorite in color? I probably initially sort of like Strawberry Slush, and I still do. For card bases, I use this is the cardstock, the Secret Sea, a lot. It's not quite obviously as black as black is, but it's a dark color. So, things like that really stand out. So I really like the Secret Sea. Used a lot of that for my card bases. So what's your favorite color? I'm not a huge yellow orange fan, but I've used them in cards and they look really cool. So I'm going to make a card that uses this folder here, which is probably a little bit hard to see. So I don't know if you can see it. You'll see it once I emboss it. It's from the Glass and Garden, and there are 2 embossing folders, and this one is the more flowery pattern. And if you see the card I've made, which, here we go. Let's do one in one of my favorite colors, the Strawberry Slush. You will see this is the pattern that we're going to be using. So there's not much stamping in this. It's lots of embossing, using the in colors. Basically, we've just stamped our sentiment, and you can see we've used two-tone cardstock, designer series paper, the ribbon, stamps, embellishments. So lots of different parts of the in colors. Now this comes in a pair. And last week we used the other folder, and you'll actually kind of see the card is similar, sort of a layout. I might just show it to you afterwards, but quite different, if that makes sense. It's, same sort of idea, but you can get quite a different look. All right, pleased to hear that the sound is all good, picture's good, excellent. I see Linda likes Timid Tiger, so that's very cool. All right, so let's get started. And we're going to make them so you can see them in all the different colors. So this is two-tone cardstock, which means on one side it's dark and on the other it is light. So if you can kind of compare the two, so there's a dark and there's a light. So that's the same, but just switched over. So when I made these cards, I wanted to emboss on the dark side, but I did this one upside down. So it's a light. So we're going to redo it on the right side this time, doing it on the dark. So I'm going to put it on inside my folder. So the Stampin' Up logo at the bottom means this is the embossed up the top. So I'm going to put my card in like this. Now I want it fairly close to the left. So I'm not actually going to center it. I don't want too much space on that side. I actually want it to go more, over to the right, so that this pattern is quite close to the edge. And because I'm going to actually, oh dear, it's moving, rip down that side, as you will see. And we're going to put that through. Now this is a standard embossing folder. That's what, originally embossing folders were. And then they brought out these fancy 3D ones, thicker ones. So it's just not, it's, not, what's the word? So the impression isn't as thick as, some embossing folders. So to do this, we need our 1 plate, and then we need a sandwich of our 3 plates. So I'm going to have a 3 and then a 1 on my folder, and then another 3 on the top with my 1. Okay, so I'm going to put it through the other side. You'll see it come out, and we will get going. So with the thicker 3D embossing folders, you use that special grey plate, but this is just a standard one. All right. So here is on the dark side, because that was at the top, we have our embossed image. Now it is hard to see. Can you even see it with the camera? So we are going to sand it. So just get some fine sanding paper. You can either use something like this and sand over, or I've got this old block that Stampin' Up used to have. Excuse the noise, but very gently sand. I just don't want to sort of, I want to hold it still so the paper doesn't get buckled, basically. Might use this end. So two-tone cardstock has got a white core. So when I sand it, the white comes through. And it's quick and easy, just like that. Isn't that cool? So it looks like it's white embossed on paper, but you don't have to worry about Versamark and the powder and heating it. You just put it through and sand it. Obviously you need a design that is to emboss rather than stamp, but it gives that impression that you thought that was a stamp and I had white embossed it, but I hadn't. Now I don't know if you can see here, I think you can a bit, all the color bits that have come off. So I'm actually going to wipe that and move it away. All right, there we go. So that is very cool. And you couldn't really see that pattern now before, but now you can. Now that I've sanded it and the white core is coming through. So now I want to rip it. What I might do is just show you what it's like not ripped. And you can see the difference, because I know not everybody likes to rip edges. So let's sort of do a comparison and see what you like. So I'm going to start off with a piece of white. So it's just a little border around. And then I want my designer series paper. Now this one here was that kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, whatever that sort of look is. This time we're going to use stripes, and I was trying to decide which way, but I've decided to go down with the stripes. Now with our designer series paper, it's 6 inches. If you basically cut it into 3, and I thought I had a piece already cut, but if I don't, I will cut another one here. You can actually get 3 out of a sheet. So let me do, this has obviously got 1 cut off already. So if I make it 5, then I would get 3 from 1 sheet. So I'm actually going to adhere this side down first. So I did have to trim a bit off. So this is 14 centimeters by 5, and this is going to go on top like that. So if you wanted a straight edge, I would possibly trim it in a bit closer. Can you see the difference? I don't know if you prefer more a torn look or the straighter look. I'll show you the torn look so you can see what I do, and then maybe we'll see how we go for time for a straighter edge. So I'm going to hold it and I'm going to rip towards me so that I see on the left the torn edge. So just keeping it controlled. I'm going a little bit in and out just so it's not totally straight, just to give it a bit of interest. Just moving my hands down so it is fairly controlled. Now we've got that leaf that sticks out a bit. We can just go close to it. So I don't need that for this card. And then basically I'm going to put that like so. So grabbing my glue, and we will put our DSP down. Whoops, that's a little bit too thick. I'll just move it around a bit. Our designer series paper before. Oops, I've got glue there. That's not like me. All right, let's just. Oh, it's really coming out. It's been upside down, and it's pouring out everywhere. So what I'm going to do, I've got some over here at the side. I'm just going to pick it up. I might as well use it. I'm going to put my lid on because it's really coming out. Okay, and we're going to wipe this over here so it doesn't get sticky, and put this one down. All right, there we go. So I kind of feel it gives this sort of interesting look with that torn edge. Did my glue go close enough on that side? Possibly not. Just going to add a bit more glue closer to the edge, but not too much. I do not want it oozing out, that's for sure. There we go. Okay. So that you can see the different look with the stripes and with that splatter, I guess you could call it. I'm going for monochromatic, so it's going to go on the Darling Duckling base, but I'm going to put some ribbon around it first. So I've got my Darling Duckling ribbon, and I'm going to cut a piece that is slightly wider and grab some tape, she says, hopefully. Did I bring tape in? Yes, I did. So I'm just going to... So you need to put the ribbon on before you adhere it to your card base, because you need to tuck it behind. So one like so. And like that. Let's make sure it's not quite straight, so we'll just adjust it. Okay, and then we'll put our glue on. There we go. And then we need another bit of ribbon. I haven't done a bow, I've just tied a knot. So you need to make it long enough that you can hold it and tie it. But you obviously don't want it too long that you're wasting lots of ribbon. There we go, just like that. If you need to trim the edges, I like to do them at an angle. Now, sentiment, different possibilities. You can keep it nice and simple, or you can do different things. So I'll show you my other cards. So for this one here, birthday wishes, I've just punched it out with the Love with Label punch, which I use a lot of, and put it on with dimensionals. With this one here, my sentiment is smaller, so I have cut my punched shape a little bit narrower too, so there's not so much white. And then, oh, that's where I had my embellishment. This one here, I've added a border around, which I think I may have shown you a little while ago, but we'll go over that again. So let me show you a couple of ways of doing this. I'm going to put my lid on my glue because it's really coming out. Okay. We'll do one of each. So we'll do this one here, full size, and the thanks will make smaller. Okay, so this one here, we're just going to cut as normal. I'm obviously going to only use one. And then with my thanks, I'm going to cut it close on one side. Doesn't matter that I miss some of that because we're going to put it in, line it up, and cut it like that. That's how we get it smaller. So we could put a thanks on here like so. Now with my dimensionals, I like to use them above and below because if you put it onto the ribbon, it tends to move around. If it's above and below with the minis, then it keeps it in place, which is helpful. So let me show you how I framed it. So I'm going to cut 2 more in Darling Duckling. Sorry about the loud noise. And we are going to cut them like follows. We are going to cut one directly down the middle. Now this particular way works for this punch, depends on what punches you have, depends on how you do it. It's not quite straight, but it's okay. We're going to cut this one in half, but I don't want the top bits up here because when you add them all together, there's too many bits. So I'm going to trim. I basically just want the curvy bit at the end. So I'll show you what it looks like after I've cut. So I've got 2 bits like that and then 2 bits like that. Does that make sense? Then I'm going to get my glue and I'm going to do these ones first. And I'm going to put this on the top and bottom, just a narrow gap like so. I'll actually pick it up and hold it, then I can adjust it. And here. Whoops, try and make it same top and bottom. So you could have it just like that with it top and bottom. But I'm also going to add to the ends. So I'm going to put one on here and one on here. Try and make it even. All right, I'm probably going to just leave that for a minute to dry so that I don't move it as I'm adhering it. So that's how you can frame the whole thing. Now, depend on your shape, where things overlap, which bits you'll need to adjust, but that's how I do it on here. Okay, so I've just looked like the video had frozen for a minute, so I was just checking. Okay, so then we can add that with our mini dimensionals. So I'm going to add them top and bottom because for me, I don't want it on the ribbon because that way it won't move around so much. And is my Take Your Pick tool handy? It is. So let's take off the top layer. Great if you don't have nails. And then we're going to put this on like so. And I can actually slide this over and adjust it too. Great. And then to finish it off, my embellishments. So we've got a couple on here, so we'll use these up first. So I'm going to put one up here. There are 3 sizes, so I'm going to use large and small. And then I'll use the medium one down the bottom. I'm keeping it to this side because it might get lost in the busy emboss side. There you go. How's that? All right. So I've nearly got all the layers. I hadn't quite finished. This is my Secret C one. Card base is here. So we need to put some ribbon on that as well, which I also have here. So you can see me do the last stages. And our sentiment. in the matching color. So monochromatic. I do quite like monochromatic. As part of my in color club, people get a monochromatic card in their color for that month. So they didn't get this one because this is what just a design I created for the live based on other things I've done, but still, oops, yep, nearly thought I hadn't done the white, but I have. There we go, and another piece of ribbon for our knot. And then our sentiment. Now you could, if you want something on the inside, because we've got no stamp, just going to trim that slightly. If you had a spare piece of cardstock, you could put a white piece in, and then maybe a strip of the coordinating cardstock so it all ties together. All right, so that one needs a sentiment. I just need to clean up my... Well, I'm going to go with the quick, easy version. We're just going to do a thanks, and we're going to make it a little bit shorter. And we'll put that on, and then you can see how that goes. And then we've got a variety of cards. So cut it close on one side and through here. Just make sure it lines up top and bottom. Then we're going to do that. And dimensionals, mini ones. There you go. So we've used on the left the same, our embossing folder, but different patterns on the right hand side. Some is the splatter, some is the stripes. Which do you like? Let's put that there. And then what else have we done? I've ripped all of these, but it would be interesting to see what it would like if it wasn't ripped. So, no, I want a medium size one down here. It gets a little bit more lost because of the darker color, but there you go. All right, let's have a look at these cards. What's your favorite color? So Linda said she tried with the cloud punch this morning, so doing that framing technique, which is cool. So with my one, it's obviously exactly the same top and bottom with clouds. It's not, a symmetrical shape, but that's fine. If you're cutting in half, you just move it up and move it down. So that kind of works as well, but you can have lots of fun doing that. Very good. So there are the cards. And so that is using the two-tone cardstock, sanding it, and then designer series paper. So initially, when I saw the paper, I saw these kind of patterns, but I felt if I did that next to there, it was going to be a bit too busy. So I actually caught up with some team members this morning, and when I was talking to them, I noticed the patterns on the other side, which I don't tend to use. And so thank you to Lynn. That was a good idea of me trying the other side. So thanks for that. All right, cool. So one of the fun things about Stampin' Up is, the people that you meet and that kind of thing. So it's not just making the cards, but it's the connection you have with others as well. So it was fun to be able to catch up with some team members today. All right, so these are our in colors. So same card, different different ways of the sentiment, different designs on the designer series paper, but the basic card design is the same. If you watched last week, you would have seen I did this card. So let me move these out the way. Again, in colors, but not monochromatic, because these are, quite bright colors. So this time it still had embossed on the left and designer series paper on the right. So same kind of design, but sort of the other way around. And this paper was more of our focus. And then our designer series paper on the left was more of just an accent supporting this. This is just normal cardstock. This is sanded, and this is the other embossing folder that pairs up with this one. So you get both of those together. And obviously my sentiment was different because I used those more messages and I put ribbon behind rather than ribbon around. But you can kind of see the basic card design is two parts, one DSP, one embossed, one embossed, one DSP, but quite a different look. So, you know, there's lots of different cards and things. And obviously my sentiment is done differently as well. But hopefully that gives you an idea. And these ones, obviously a mixture of colours with this is what I mean about the card base being Secret C, and then the accent colours, whereas these ones are monochromatic. So lots of fun. Cool. Well, thank you for joining me today. Whether you are watching live or you're watching the recording later, I appreciate that. Couple of things to remember. In colour sale ends on Sunday. So if you've been thinking about getting two-tone cardstock or ink pads or ribbon or anything, embellishments in colours, if you order those before Sunday or by Sunday, then you get 15% off. So order online or contact me if you've got any questions. Those that do the In Colour Club, they get a pack of a sample of all these different things. So I'm the one who does the cutting and sorting. You don't have to buy whole packs of cardstock and whole packs of two-tone cardstock or the whole pack of designer series paper. You get your, you know, one colour for that month and then a selection, which makes it a more economical way of doing it rather than buying the whole packs and things. So this month's one are either ready for pickup or being sent out, and the final month is next month. If you missed out on that but you're interested, I am wondering about whether I offer it for a second cycle if there are those that are keen, because it's a great way of adding to your in colours. But remember, if you're just wanting an item here or there, then the sale ends Sunday. Now, the other thing is mini catalogue. So this will start next week on Wednesday. So the products will go live. We get to pre-order, which is exciting. Got a couple of things that I've got and played with, which is cool. Sorry, just moving my trimmer out the way. And In Colour Club people, your catalogues are being sent with your in colours. Other people, I'm hoping to send those out in the next day or two. So be on the lookout for that. And then next Friday, so not tomorrow, but a week's time, I'm doing an online event, which we're going to look through the catalogue. I'll show you some samples of things, play a game, just share some ideas and things with the new mini catalogue and online exclusives, because there's new product coming out that isn't in here that comes out on the 3rd as well. So that's very exciting. So if you would like to sign up for that event, it will be in an exclusive, I'm just going to change cameras. It will be in a Facebook group for that event. So you'll just need to sign up and join. I'll share the link in the description soon. So sign up for that. Even if you can't be live, you can always join, and then you can watch the recording over the weekend when it suits you. So that's lots of fun. Have exciting things to share with you there. So that will be for the new mini catalogue and the online exclusives that are starting next week on Wednesday. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's cards. Like I say, in some ways a similar layout to last week, but you can see with different embossing folder, different papers, a different focus, your card can look quite different. So it's just having an idea and just using it in different ways. So I hope you have fun with that. If you would like to purchase anything, shop through my online store or contact me and I'd be happy to help you. If you're not on my mailing list, I encourage you to sign up so you can be up to date with exclusive tutorials, information, promotions, all that kind of thing too. Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. I enjoy seeing you each week. And thank you for those that are watching the recording later. Please comment as well. Love reading your comments. And remember that sale, it ends on Sunday. So make the most of the in colours. And we'll see you next week. Reach out to me if I can help in any way. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks so much.